Hi guys, welcome back. It's Monday, waxing on, that means jazz. And today we're going to look at somebody that I really didn't have a lot of information about. I read about him in Downbeat, which if you watch the show, that seems to be one of the few places that I get my inspiration to check out musicians. And it was an album that was given to me by my brother-in-law for Christmas one year. Another trombone player, he plays trombone as well. And I think he was just trying to expose me to some other options on trombone. And this one is a fellow named Raul de Souza. The album he gave me was Don't Ask My Neighbors. Now I'd read a little bit about it in Downbeat. I was kind of interested in checking him out. Trombone player from Brazil. Played with Sergio Mendes at one time, Flora Purim. Really had come to the States and recorded a couple of albums there. This being one of them, George Duke was producing. And if you remember the name George Duke, he's played with a number of other people. I know he recorded with Billy Cobham, but I first became aware of his music when he was playing with Frank Zappa. So certainly he's been around. He was the producer on here. Raul or Duke had arranged all the music. Now, when I listened to it, and I mean, I'm looking at the album cover, the title, Don't Ask My Neighbors. I was expecting kind of a rollicking, wild and crazy trombone outing. And it really wasn't that. It's more samba-ish, more heavy on the Brazilian flavor, light jazz. It really wasn't what I was thinking it was going to be. Now, it was a good album. It just kind of, the old story, I can't judge a book by its cover. But an interesting album to check out, and Raul had a great career. He played until he passed away at the age of 81 and performed a lot of great music. Again, up in Canada, may not have been as familiar to musicians or the general public as he was in his native Brazil. Now, when I look at my viewing audience, I would have got a small percentage. Maybe it's 25–30% of Canadians watching, so he may be somebody you're well familiar with in your area. But this is one of his early albums. It was the second one recorded in the US, and he's had a long string of albums as well. So, and they're on the streaming networks if you want to check out and see just what he does. It's interesting stuff. On here, compositions, we've got a couple by Raul. We've got Harvey Mason contributing a song, fabulous drummer. We've got George Duke contributing one, Wayne Shorter, Michael Henderson, and Michael Colombier. So there's names that are kind of familiar there that have contributed to this, although they've kind of changed the flavor of the music. And again, he stayed true to his native land. Now, this is one of the few pictures I've seen of him with what I call a valve trombone. On here, he says he plays the Souza bone. And you can see it looks very different. It doesn't look like the Superbone Maynard head. It doesn't look like the valve trombones Rob Bookmeyer or Rob McConnell used. It is a little different in the tubing, the way it's wired. And it's one of the few albums that I've seen on covers where he's actually got this horn. Most of the time he's just playing a regular slide trombone. So, an interesting one to check out. May not be a name you're familiar with, and I understand that. But if you do know his music, you understand what we're looking at, some interesting stuff here. If you haven't, it's a great time to check out a new player. Well, I'm going to say a new player, new to you, new to me. But he's been around for years. This album's from the late 1970s. So he is no young'un. And, you know, just a whole different take on things from what I've been used to, listening to, again, people like Rob McConnell, Bill Watrous, Carl Fontana. What he's doing here is a little bit different, certainly in a whole different context. So that's it for today. One of the albums that I found surprising, it was, like say, something I hadn't gone out and bought, received it as a gift, and a very pleasant surprise. It's Raul de Souza and Don't Ask My Neighbors. So that's it for jazz. We're back Wednesday. Wednesday, we're going to have a special two for maybe three albums we'll talk about because it's the day before St. Patrick's Day. And I'll give you some ideas of what you might be able to listen to or might want to listen to, from traditional to some pretty far out Celtic music. So check in with us Wednesday to see how we do. And everybody have a great week. Thanks for stopping by.